Hello and welcome to this week's episode of My CP Does Not Define Me, where we focus less on the this and more on the ability of what we can do. Join us each and every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, live on the Disability Global Broadcast, Facebook Live, and LetGoRadio.net. Looking forward to seeing you there.
What's up, everybody? It's D to the J with the rollaway, and I am happy to announce episode 105 of My CP Does Not Define Me. And this one I kind of contemplated doing because, well, it's a bit of a struggle, and I know a lot of people deal with it, but not a lot of people talk about it. And when I made the flyer for this show, I I looked at how I wanted to approach it and what I really what wanted to say about the topic. So I'd like to welcome everybody in. We are broadcasting live on the Disability Global Broadcast. We're broadcasting live on Facebook and on LetGoRadio.net. For those of you just coming into the show, please feel free to leave me a comment. Let me know how you are. Hey, Cindy, how are you? Thank you for coming into the show. We appreciate you being here. I'm very happy to say this. This is show 105. We're over 100 shows now, doing really well. Really excited about it. Now, the title of this episode is Friendship and Timing and Their Effects with CP. But I don't want to just cover cerebral palsy on this. I want to cover friendship with disabilities. I want to cover timing with disabilities because they're two different things, but they're also one and the same thing. And I want to explain what I'm talking about. I have learned in my 40 years of life that I am a people person. I always have been a people person. I like to be around people. I like to be, I like to make people laugh. I like to make people happy. But I've also come to terms with, and I've said this before, everybody's not going to like me, and that's okay. I don't have a problem with people voicing their opinion. I don't have a problem with people telling me what they think. And I don't have a problem with people being my friend or not being my friend if they choose to do so. Um, the problem with a lot of things and a lot of disabilities on at any time is people can feel isolated. People can feel alone. People can feel depressed. People can feel unwanted. And they will want to talk to people, but think or may think that you have to be best friends with somebody to open up to them. I've found that this conversation about isolation and loneliness in the disabled community is a big showstopper when it comes to well, I can't, I'm in a chair and I'm, paralyzed from the neck down, or I'm in a chair and I can't use my legs, or I don't drive, or I don't do this. You list all the things that you can't do. But in the same situation, it's not about a friend that has to be there because of that. I think above all of that, I think friends should be there because they want to be and they want to help. And it shouldn't be a forced thing. And anything in life, whether you have a disability or not, involves timing. And this is why I kind of coupled these two things together. It amazes me how fast people with disabilities or people who are hurting disability or not, will open up and start sharing sections of their life or pieces of their life with someone that they barely know. And they will hold that piece of or that hurt in for so long that it will basically spill out to where you can't hold it in anymore and you gotta talk to somebody or you're going to explode. Now, I do believe that when you talk to somebody, they should be at least a friend or you should know them somewhat before you share too many deep things about yourself, because people can take what you share with them and use it to break you down. They can take what you share with them and blab it to other people when you tell somebody in confidence. This is why I want to talk about timing. I believe that true friendship and true understanding, whether you have a disability or not, takes time. And I believe everybody needs somebody at some point. I don't think it is possible to go through this world alone. I find it very difficult to go through this world without having somebody to confide in, somebody to talk to, somebody to be close to, somebody to share things with. But what I have learned in my 40 years on this earth so far is that I don't want to rush that, because I'm the type of person that when I hear a problem or someone is hurting or someone is dealing with something, whether you have a disability or not, I want to fix it, because that's just the person I am. But friendship and timing come into play here. And some people prey on loneliness. Some people prey on depression and sadness. Some people say that they're your friends and they want to hear what you have to say and they want to do things for you, but they prey on what hurts you the most. And sometimes it's done so often and so deceptively that you can't see it. But let's go back a little bit and let's talk about timing first. I want to mention uh, Edwina Wilson here in the Wilson family, and I want to talk about timing. You know, my 4-year anniversary of being on the radio came up last week, because I had the Sports Minion radio show for 2 years, and I've had the My CP Does Not Find Me show over 100 shows for over 2 years. And I was, looking for a job. I was trying to find myself. I was trying to find what I wanted to do with my life. I was searching and trying to fill an emptiness that I didn't even realize I had at the time. When I met the Wilson family, it all started in a thrift store. I met Corey Wilson in a thrift store. The conversation lasted about 6 minutes, our first conversation. And he gave me a card in which I still carry to this very day in the back of my wallet with Miss Wilson's information on it. And, lo and behold, he said, I'm going to get my wife to call you, and we're going to, we have a radio station, blah, 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 told me about it. And I was excited because sounded like something that I really wanted to do because I had been involved in radio before. Now, at that time, I didn't realize what was going to kindle into one of the greatest friendships and loves that I could ever have. I had no idea at that time in my life what God was about to do and what was about to happen. So the first couple of days, I said, well, they're probably busy. She'll get to me. I didn't hear from her for about 2 weeks. And I figured that she forgot. Um, but what happened was I had I had something in my mind. I had something in my mind at that time to where I said, well, she'll call me. She'll get to me. And I thought, well, no, she won't. And I started struggling with myself. I said, do I call her? Man, I said, I really want this opportunity. Do I call her? I said, I talked to Mr. Wilson in the thrift store. It's been 2 weeks. What do I do? What do I do? And I'm fighting with this struggle. And God's going, give her a call. It's all right. And I'm like, no, I can't do that. She's supposed to call me. I've got to wait. Give her a call. It's okay. And you fight with that. Now, as I said, friendship and timing is what we're talking about. And he finally goes, call her. And I go, okay. Because it was almost an annoyance to myself. And I go, dialing a number. I answer and she's, oh my gosh. I don't know what happened to your email. And we got to talking. And again, timing, she just popped up as I started telling this story. But, some people, when you meet them for the first time, and meeting Mr. Wilson, Mrs. Wilson, and Kelly was in Pollard's Chicken. We were sitting down and I'm watching the interaction between mother, father, and daughter, and I'm going, why does this feel so comfortable? Like it almost scared me at the time because I'm just like, this can't be real, because you always think of that, or I always used to think of that too good to be true type thing because she was laughing, I was laughing, Kelly was in on it. And I remember one specific thing that I will never forget. Mr. Wilson was had gotten Kelly a piece of pie, and they were he was feeding her that piece of pie, and the piece of pie fell on the floor. Well, before I could even offer to get it, I was going to get her another piece of pie because I saw that it fell. He was already on point, and I'm like, okay, this is exactly what I'm talking about. It felt like I was supposed to be there. The conversation was wholesome. So we talked a little bit about this before. Whether you have a disability or not, some people will prey on your disappointment. Some people will pounce on your sadness. Some people will dig into your depression, not for a good reason. But I noticed this. The only thing I can call it is a spark about the Wilson family. And I was, we're going to get you on the show and come to your house and this, that, and and I was excited and left the restaurant going, oh my God, I'm just, and along with the 4-year anniversary that came up, 2 years of Sports Menu Radio Show and nearly 3 years of Mass EP now, so almost 5. I looked at this, and the first show we did, I thought the connection was good before. Now, this is kind of where I want to go to. Hey, JP, how are you? Miss Wilson has talked about timing since I've known her. And she mentions two words: our timing versus God's timing. And it's incredible that this came up because there's a couple of stories that I want to share involving timing, friendship, and disabilities all the way around. I said as we went on the air, people, whether you have a disability or not, people can feel lonely, they can feel isolated, they can feel unwanted, they can feel unloved, and they start searching for friendship. You can find friends, but I noticed recently the friends that you find aren't always the friends that you're supposed to have. And if you're careful and you listen, God will show you exactly what your friendship basis is. Now I'm gonna dig a little bit in, and I want to get this question out to Miss Winnie because you know I remember how amazing that first show was. I remember how amazing it was meeting you guys for the first time. Um, did you know or did you feel an instant connection when we met the first time? What was it like for you? I mean, I'm pretty sure you can speak for Mr. Wilson too, because I don't mind. But I just kind of wanted to get your thoughts on our first interaction.
Is it my phone or
Um, ye- it might be.
was that me?
Yeah, there you go. Okay, you're
Am I
good.
frozen?
No, you're good now.
What the
You're good.
world?
You're good.
Okay.
Mhm.
So anyway, I just thought it was really hilarious. The first time we met, it was like click, literally, because the conversation just went so well. The connection went well. The personalities and everything just came together,
Mhm.
and it felt like it was meant to happen. And you don't say that about a lot of people, a lot of things, but it just flowed really well. And I was waiting to see what was next, literally.
Mhm. Mhm. JP said, "My timing and God's timing have never been the same," and I love how he said that.
I can't
My,
see your comments, so thanks for
yeah,
reading that.
let me pop this up here. My timing and God's timing have never been the same. I'm going to say this on
It
the air,
won't be. It will
and
not ever be the same.
you will hear me say this 3 times in this broadcast. This lady sitting right here is the best storyteller I have ever heard in my life. I have heard some stories, and people tell good stories. But when I sit back like this and she start talking, and all of a sudden I'm up here trying to catch it, what she's gonna say, and she tells stories different than most people because you think she's gonna leave out a part, and you say, "But Miss Winnie, you skipped it." No, I didn't. I'm getting to that. She builds it and builds it and builds it until you go, "Miss Winnie, I can't take it no more. Tell me the part." And then she tells you, and you're like, to where it finally, and the story comes together. But in learning from her, that it was so funny because all the jokes I had just came out. But it was just me, and I've been told I'm overbearing. I've been told I talk too much. I've been told I tell too many jokes, but it just fit to grow. Now that's the next word I want to use is growth. So there, the second they left, or before they left, I said, "Oh, I got to do this again." I was yearning for it because it was something inside of me. Like I said, I've had a microphone in my hand since I was 2 years old. So I was used to the radio persona. I was used to the TV persona, and they picked up on that. Um, and I believe it was about 3 months later, not even that. we had another show, and it was just God's timing came in. So I was looking for a job, and I was so obsessed with Food Line. That's right, I said it. I was obsessed with Food Line. I wanted to get in that, and I got to get a job, and I got to. And it was something I remember 2 weeks before. I called for the interview, and God said to me, "Why are you doing this? You know you don't want to be here. You know how they're treating you. This is not what I had planned for you." I remember calling Miss Winnie before I ever got the radio position that I have. And I go, "Miss Winnie, I can't do this interview. I can't do it. Something don't feel right." I end up, because I had been interviewed before 3 other times by 3 different managers. And they all told me the same thing. "You're a great employee. You answered all the questions right. Best interview we've had in 5 years. Man, we want to hire you." And I'm like, okay. And then you don't get a call back. And it's like, you want to hire me, but you can't call me back. So I went in this last time, and I asked the manager, well, my number was on my resume. Why couldn't you call me? "Well, I couldn't find your resume." I turned to my right, and there was a pile of papers sitting on his desk. And do you know whose resume was on top? I pulled that bad boy out and said, "You mean this right here?" His mouth dropped. I left. That was it. And I realized then, I was like, okay, God, what do you want me to do? Because I don't know. I was scared. I was angry. I was frustrated. I was confused. I was discombobulated is the best word. Miss Winnie, I didn't get it, and I didn't do it, and I didn't fix it, and I didn't do this, and I was this and that. And and I couldn't go. I couldn't figure it out. And there we go. So I'm back at the house, and we had we had a conversation. They came to the house, and we were talking, and we had another show, and I'm like, I don't know, and it was almost like they saw it at that moment when Mr. Wilson asked me what he asked me. And I remember the relief I felt, and the excitement I felt, and the oh my God moment that I felt, all at the same time. It was the how did you, when did you, how did, where, and it all came out at one time.
Uh-huh.
So again, we're talking about the timing of it, and I'm going, yeah. He said, "You want to start September 5th?" Now I'm excited because I'm like, man, I'm gonna start September 5th, and I had everything out. I said, so then Food Line called me back, right? On September 4th. Like, "We want to bring you in for a second interview, and this, that, and the other. Can you come in?" Now listen to this now, because this is important. And I want to use these words. This is what Food Line said to me. "Your interview went so well, we want you to come in and try to do the position that you applied for." I'm going to be honest. I said, "Excuse me? You want me to come in and try?" Now watch this. 2 days before that, I was in Food Line. I went to register 1, which is where they were going to put me. The same cashier that called me, the same lady that called me, saw me spin around, pick up a 5-pound bag of potatoes, and go, whoop, set it up on the register, spun back around, picked it up, put it in a bag, paid for it, walked out. I said, no, thank you. Again, September 5th came and I told Miss Winnie, I said, something ain't right. She said, hold on. She said, I want you to start on September 8th. I want you to gather yourself because you need to talk about this. And we had a show on this very issue on September the 6th. And I talked about my starting position that was getting ready. I hinted at it because I really didn't want to say much, because I didn't want to tell everybody yet. But I remember how Miss Winnie helped me and Mr. Wilson helped me to get this out as if they were doing something so great by letting me come in to try the position. But how humiliating it made me feel that I was I don't know if the word is degraded or demoted to have to do it to show them that I could when I had done that 2 days before. So and I want, if you remember, and I know, well, I don't want to say I know, but I remember the show that we did and how that show went nuts. There was comments on that. There were people calling in and talking about. I wonder what it is, whether you have a disability or not. Do we have to prove ourselves to everybody? Is that just a known thing?
I don't know why society feels like that. I feel like if you apply for a position, you can you have the ability to do the position you're applying for. That's just like myself, and applying for something that I know I could do. I'm not going to apply for something that I know I'm not capable and able to do. So I feel like they shouldn't do that as either. They shouldn't, judge y'all, because when you got a phone interview and everything goes well, you walk in, roll in, or however you enter in the interview, then they quickly judge you based off of that. I think that's totally wrong, because they need to give you an opportunity after that, but you pass the phone interview. So if you pass the phone interview, what difference is it going to make in you coming in there to do the job?
Just what you're talking about right here. JP said this: I would purposely neglect to mention my disability prior to the interviews. Remember, jaws I have seen hit the floor when I come into the interview and they're shocked. I can't prove it, but I know some of the interviews where I did not get the job because of my disability. And interviewers will say it's not discrimination. They will say you can't prove it. But that right there, what you're talking, once they see the chair, or once they see the disability in full force, they're so focused on what they see and what they think the person can't do,
right,
that the interview doesn't go according to plan. Now, I know everybody's question is, what has this got to do with friendship and timing? Think about it. What if I would have went in and I would have proved to them that I could have done it? I would have taken the interview. I would have been miserable in a job where it was a temporary position. I don't want temporary. I want concrete. I want to be in there. I want to affect people every day. Speaking of which, when I got the position of for Let Go Radio and the sportscaster for Let Go Radio, my first show was September 9th. It actually ended up being September 9th. And I remember I was so nervous, man. I was shaking and sweating. And I had 12 shows of material for one show, because I'm going to run out of stuff to talk about. until I hit that first line. And Mr. Wilson was right there for my first show because he knew I was nervous. Once we hit that, I was like, tag, that hour went fast. Because you think an hour and you think, man, I can't find stuff to talk about for an hour. This right here that we've been talking has been 30 minutes and 24 seconds right now. And I'm like, when you get on a passionate a topic that stirs something in you, you can talk 35 minutes like that because it doesn't take long for people to respond. It doesn't take long for guests to respond. Now, I have no idea how God timed it out because there was stuff that happened in between all that, and I'm like, I did 48 episodes of the Sports Minion radio show. And I remember something was stirring inside. And I've kept in contact with the Wilson family. And here's where the timing and the friendship evolves. The more I would talk to Miss Wilson, the more I would talk to Mr. Wilson, the more I would talk to Kelly, the more I would talk to their daughters and sons and all, the family, the more I would want to. And I'm not going to say everything has been right down the line because sometimes I say something I shouldn't. Sometimes get mad. Sometimes you don't get mad. Sometimes you get over it. Sometimes because it goes like this. But what I realized in all the times that I got mad or all the times things didn't go the way I thought they should go, God asked me one question. And this is true friendship. I want you to think about it. Can you live without them? I said, can I live without them? No, I can't. What are you talking? No. All the stuff that you deal with, you can be mad as you want. What if they were gone? Just like that. Wake up tomorrow and that's it. You're mad at your best friend because of something you thought should have been done one way, and you too stubborn to say, sorry, I didn't see it. That's what true friendship is. When you realize that someone is there for you and does things you don't even think about. Like even I'm going, how in the world did they pull that? Like there have been moments where, again, timing, I will be freaking out and Miss Wilson will call me and say, you on my mind. And I'm like, what do y'all have like EST or something? Because it is amazing to me that the sometimes I'll give you one more example and I'm gonna let Miss Wilson talk a little bit. I don't remember what it was. I think I was having an issue about my mom moving. And I was so angry and so upset. And Miss Wilson knew it. And she called me 30 seconds before my show. And in a 30-second conversation, this is what she said. And I remember this to the point because I wrote it down. She said, you got to remember to stay positive. I know you're struggling, but you're about to go on the radio. Turn that frown upside down and give me something. But give me the DJ that I know. And I went, and the show just went on without a hitch. And I'm like, wait a minute. Did she pull that out of me in 30 seconds? And I called her after the show. I said, Miss Wilson, what? And it was one of them things. I'm like, I don't know how you did it or what you said. Or how. And then at the end of it, I'm like, dang. In 30 seconds, you can change somebody's attitude or life just like that with a positive thought. And from that day forth, 3 years ago, she said this to me. 3 years ago now, don't let negative thought ever enter your head. She said, if it goes to enter your head, block it out. And from that day, I said, okay. And I have tried my best to steer negative thought away from me and to stay positive. And it's because of her friendship and her guidance and the family's friendship and family's guidance, because Mr. Wilson's done it too. And Mr. Wilson's not one to say a lot. He will speak, and he will speak softly, but when he hits, you're like, you can't say nothing. You're just like, okay, I need to marinate on that for a little bit. So I want to ask you this question. You know, you've known me for it's been almost 5 years now. September will be 5 years. I look at this, and you talked about, you've talked about my capabilities so many numerous times, about things that you see that people don't, the people that you're talking with, me included, don't necessarily see. But you're able to not force it out of them, but nudge them in a direction to get them to a point where they, even though they don't want to see it, they see it. Have you always been able to do that? I mean, or did that happen over time, or was that just within yourself, or what? Because I
think it's just the way I am, really. Like, it just happens per conversation, per situation, I don't think it's anything that happened over time. I just think it's just, like I said, per conversation, per situation that comes up. And I'm just quick to not allow negativity in my ear or around my space. Mm-hmm. So I'm quick to be like, we got to turn that thing around. So I'm thinking, to twist that around, just twist it. No, we got to change that. No, you got to look at that in a different way, But you said something earlier that I wanted to address. You said something earlier about let me think. Hold on. You said something earlier about, it was about friendship. It was about people. It was about how things can change. And the enemy and God. So, okay, so what I want to say in reference to what I'm trying to put together in your conversation was, there could be a person that really adores someone and really like being around people and, that particular person. And you got to be careful, because you can have other people try to deter you, but the enemy at the same time could be so tricky to try to make it feel like this is the right thing to do, or this person is telling you the right thing, where all along the enemy could have been trying to tear that apart for a long time, but he never could. So it could be that one person that you trust, that you feel like you believe in, and all of this, that could say one thing to you to make you say, you know what? Yeah, we ain't supposed to be friends. Nope, I need to walk away from that. And you have to be so very careful of that, especially when you know how much you care about a person.
Right.
Because the enemy is so busy. He come in all disguises, and he can make himself feel like, or make somebody feel like that's God telling them to do something. So I wanted to address that, because people could get confused and misconstrued when it comes to something like that, thinking they did the right thing, and all along the enemy done tore you and a friendship apart, because you believed and trusted this one person that you always believe in, and it's okay. But you got to remember, at the same time, how many times did this try to happen? Right. How many times did the enemy try to deter you from this person? How many times did something set up to try to make you realize, think that you ain't supposed to talk to her or him, or call him or her, or go see him or her, or, all of those things. The enemy don't give up. But what he will do is use that one person that's closest to you to do it. That's what he will do.
I don't know if it was, I think it was either you or Mr. Wilson that put it up. There was a post that you put up about, there were two wheelchairs sitting in the water, and there was a post above it. They say, A true friend will stay with you even when the water rises to the very top.
I put that one day. Yep.
Now, you think about that.
Yep.
Now we talking about true friendship and true timing. When you're going through it, and this lady's been through it, I've been through it too. I hadn't been through nearly what she's been through, but she's been around a little bit longer than I have, and I'm still growing, still learning, and still trying to get there. But and she is too. She's still growing, learning, and trying to get there too. That's what makes us. I think that's what makes us such a great family, is because we both realize that what we want to do, but we're trying to do it the right way. When you're going through something, a friend will say, I'll be there for you. Okay. But a true friend is down in the trenches with you.
That part.
I'm talking about someone says, I don't have anything to my name. I'm broke. Someone says, I'm broke. You know what it truly means to be broke? Know what it truly means to say, I ain't got a pot to piss in? I can't ever say that. I've never not had clothes on my back. I've never not had food on my table. There are people in this world that have truly lost everything. And yet there are people that they ain't got it that bad. You never know what a person is truly going through until you walk, roll, or have been a mile in their shoes.
So true.
I'm going to say this, and this irritates me with cerebral palsy, spina bifida, MS, leukemia, cancer. Man, I wish I had one of those. You got it easy. I regret how I handled it, kind of, but I had a guy, and he was following me and talking. I don't know if he just had a bad, man, you got it easy. Give me that chair. I turned around and I said, man, you wouldn't last a day. I said, do you have any idea what it's like not to be able to fully use your legs? Do you know how to transfer with a handrail? Do you know how to move your chair just so you can get to the toilet so you don't poop on the floor and then fall? Something came out of me, and he looked at me. And when he said it, I could tell he wanted to instantly take it back. Because once it came out, he just, like, you saw the look on his face, like he was sorry. But and when I left, I'm like, man, you need to chew on that fat for a little bit, because you got to be careful with what you say to people, because it affects them. Words are like a double-edged sword. They hurt and they break. Words can tear you down. And I've seen it happen. This is a great comment right here. Oh boy. Woo. People with disabilities tend to hang most of their friendships for a lifetime, especially if that friend is also disabled. I'm still friends with people I was friends with in elementary school. Now, this right here, however, with all of it, those challenges those challenges you have here, you are gifted. Please remember that. Everybody has gifts. Everybody. I don't care what disability you have. I don't care what problems that you have. Again, I'm going to pull a phrase from the Book of Winnie, and it's know your worth. That's one of the most powerful 3-word phrases that she has said to me, and she said a lot of them. I can pull them left, right, up, down, but I've heard someone say, I'm worthless. I can't do anything. I'll never amount. Or somebody will tell you you'll never amount to anything. Let me revise that, because I want to revise it with a phrase. Nobody is ever nothing, because you are always something. You were created by God to be something. Now, you have to decide what that something is. And when you know your worth and you realize how important you are, I'm going to tell you, I did not know my full potential. I'm 40 years old. I'm 5'6". I'm 230 pounds. I did not know my full potential until this lady over here, excuse my French, pissed me off enough to bring it out of me. Because it's something that she saw. And again, your true friends are not going to hurt you. They're going to lift you up. They're never going to bring you down. Even though you may feel, I don't agree with that. She ain't right. She can't tell me what I... Look, get off your horse for a minute. Get off of your comfort zone and stop doing one thing. When she's right, she's right. And look, don't be afraid to admit that you're wrong, because you know what that does. That shows strength in a man or a woman. Anybody can be right, anybody can be wrong, but you can't always be both.
Right.
I one thing I will always admire. I have said this to Miss Winnie probably 30 or 40 times in our friendship. She's an uplifter of people. You can be down there, rock bottom, way down there. And when I'm talking about, see, that's another thing. To understand what rock bottom is, the only way you can understand rock bottom, and I ain't talking about WWE, I'm talking about being down there in the trenches where you don't see nothing. When you hit rock bottom, I realized something. Only one place you can go. Up. You can stay there. And this is another, as in the book of Winnie. It's all right to be upset. It's okay to not be okay, but don't stay there. Don't stay there.
Stay there.
I used to be, and I never realized this until I never thought of myself as a negative person, and I'm not. But since I've been with this mama right here, I'm a lot less negative than I used to be. And when you stop thinking negative thoughts and you stop using negative preferences, like, I guess, don't guess. Go for it. You got to put confidence in something. I've said this. Failure is not an option. Failure is just, it's not a failure. It's just a different way of getting things done. When you're trying to get somewhere, if you can't walk up there, roll up there. If you can't roll up there, jump up there. If you can't jump up there, tie a rope and sit on a platform and pull yourself up there. There's more than one way to do this. And Siobhan, man, boy, let me tell you, I love Siobhan. She said, "Oh, I'm sorry. I'm using the dictation function. Please pardon me. This is Siobhan Smith. I was trying to say that Miss Edwina has a gift of putting peace in every person that she speaks to. I am an outspoken person, and she has helped me to calm down when I get very vocal and stand true to my convictions." Now see, again, when you talk on a topic that you're passionate about, and look at this, we've gone from A to B to C to D. All of this is timing. And this lady can preach a sermon on timing. Woo! I remember. I think probably the best piece of advice that she's ever given me is she said it in such a way, when you be careful with what you speak into existence. And I'm gonna say this with 10 minutes left in this show. I've said before, words are powerful. She said it, and now I copy a lot of it. Look, and other people may have said it too. She's not the only one, but I'm gonna tell you this: you have to be very careful what you speak into existence, because once it comes out of your mouth, it's out in the air. And she said she said something to me, and it at first I was so PO'd, and I'm like, tell me that. If you think you shouldn't say something, or something tells you not to say it, you probably should be quiet and wait. A couple times I've said something and I thought, you shouldn't say it, and said it anyway. I went, yep, there she go. Said I should just be quiet and wait. Sometimes you just got to shut up, because sometimes you can talk too much. You got to just wait and get clarification on what you're really trying to feel, because emotions, they mess stuff up when they get in there, and you don't deal with each emotion, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It comes out, and it comes out hard or harsh. I got scared one time because Miss Winnie came up as a Facebook user on my episode, and I was like, I'm just going and going, and she said something so calm, but when I was reading it, it put a fear in me. I'm like, and I remember Miss Winnie came up, and immediately she calmed me down, but it wasn't in a I didn't say that. It wasn't in a that's not what I meant. It was, what you have to be careful of is this. And I went, because then once you and if you once she said it, I went, oh, Miss Winnie, did I do that? She goes, no. She goes, but when you tread that path, it can get a little messy. And I'm like, oh. But again, God's timing, talking about this, and I'm gonna read this comment in just a moment. Her guidance, it is. I don't care if you're buying a house, buying a car, Mazda 626. That's all I'll say. If you are writing something down on a yellow piece of paper, there's another one. You have the ability to give. You can make a person's day with kindness. Just smile. That's all. And when I first met her, I memorized this statement so fast, because every time on her show, remember to smile at someone every day, because you never know who you may bless.
You know, true story. True story.
And that has stuck with you your whole life.
It had. I tell you why. I use it every now and then now, but it's something that I truly will never forget. I was working at IBM in Gaithersburg, Maryland, and I got on the elevator early one morning, about 6 o'clock in the morning, and this older lady got on the elevator, and I said, "Good morning, how you doing?" And she said, "Wow, I've been working here for almost 30 years, and nobody gets on the elevator as cheerful early in the morning to say anything. They get on with attitudes and funky looks and all kinds of things. And you just, good morning, how you doing?" And it stuck with her. She followed me to my desk. She stayed at my desk for a good little while talking. She got my sign on her. Well, our sign on names. It's like what you call it? It's like Facebook Messenger.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So we got each other's contact information. And every morning from that day, that lady came to my desk and she would message me. And she just said, I just appreciate you for doing that. Like, you made my day just from that one little thing. Good morning. Good morning. With a smile. So that's why I always use that term, smile for someone every day, because you never know who you may bless. True story, because it is a true story. But it is so true because you never know what people are going through. You don't know what people are experiencing, or if they just had a sad moment or lost a family member, or maybe sick but can't afford to leave their work or anything. So you really never know who you may bless. Even if you say good morning and somebody don't say anything, you still never know how you may have blessed that person. Because they could go back and say, I was being all mean, and this person said, good morning, and I ain't even say nothing. But I thank that person for doing that. So you never know the impact of what a simple, free smile can do for anyone. Just never know. And that's just me. I just do it just because.
And I've got two quotes that I'm gonna say. Shayna does this a lot. Shayna Thomas will have a quote or two on her show. And when you have nearly lost your life and came back from the brink of death, you are glad when your feet hit the floor when you wake up. When you have came back from the brink of death and nearly lost your life, you are glad when you wake up in the morning and your feet hit the floor. Now, I got one more. Tomorrow morning when you wake up, no matter what happened, yesterday was yesterday. Today is new. It is a new opportunity. And I want to close with this. The word opportunity. If I had to summarize Miss Wilson in one word, she is a running, jumping, rolling, walking opportunity. She takes every day new with an opportunity to do something for somebody. And if we all did that, now I've never this person has never been on my show before, and I want to compliment them because, and I think it's Jun. I'm not sure how to pronounce the first name, but Blanchard. I'm 74 years old with CP, a retired deputy, worked 30 years of serving people, young and old, was my job through God's trust to people that God has loved no matter what condition a person is in. Miss Wilson is a God-loving person for all people.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Again, I got to tell this story before I go. I got to, because it's so important now. September 9th will be my 5-year anniversary. I want to say this, and it means so much. You know, I changed 3 weeks ago. I changed to the 7 o'clock time slot. I used to be so concerned with numbers. When my show started, how many people am I going to get to watch me? How many people are listening on the radio? How many people? It wasn't cocky, but then I thought about it and I was like, yeah, it was. Miss Wilson said something to me, and I said the book of winning is probably going to be about this thing.
The book of winning.
There was a phrase that has, and when Miss Winnie gives advice or helps, it sticks like baby back ribs to your stomach. It sticks. If you do your show to the best of your ability and you affect one person, you can change the world. And if you think about it, That one person goes and tells one other. That one person goes and tells two others. Then that family go and starts talking about it. Then they share it on YouTube. Then they share it on Instagram. Then they go and put it on Facebook. And before you know it, their friends are talking about it. And their friends are talking about it from one chance. I'm gonna end with this. I was doing a show. It was very early in my radio career. Very early. Big storm going on outside. I said, Lord, don't let this show go out. I was talking about my disability and cooking and karate and this and that and going on. And I saw 2, 3, 10, 20, 30, 50, 60, 70, 90. We had 90 people. And this is what happened. There was a pastor from Ghana that Shayna knew, and I had no idea who he was. But this same pastor has listened to several of my shows from Ghana, and it just continued to grow and grow and grow. That show to this day has over 3,000 views. So you don't know what it's going to do. But I want to say this. Just because you don't watch live doesn't mean you don't watch. See, and that's another one. Miss Whitney said, look, they may be watching, but they may not say anything. Some of these guys are watching and they're not, again, there's so many crystal clear points, and I'm still young in my development. And I'm not afraid to say that. We all fall short. We all do things that don't turn out the way they're supposed to. But when you have somebody that is a true friend, somebody that sticks with you in the happiest of happy and the saddest of sad and the best of the best and the worst of the worst, I know we're over a little bit. I know we are, but I want to share one more thing. And I got to say thank you to Miss Wilson for this. The other day, she so I'm gonna come over in about 30 minutes. That's okay. Miss Wilson will pop by, check on me, see how I'm doing. We might eat a bite, something like that. Talk a little bit. My friend Josh has been on this show before. Josh Goldstein, one of my best friends from campus, so way back in, goodness gracious, 90. 90,
just say 21 years ago.
Yeah, 21 years ago we met. And I got a knock at my door yesterday, and it was Josh. I said, Jesus. I opened the door, and I'm like, what the?
The best moment ever. But go ahead.
I almost choked on my spit because I didn't know I was like, I couldn't. When I opened the door, I thought I'm like, what? And then she behind me got the phone and just we started talking, and I'm like, how, when, because I didn't know. And it was like we picked up where we left off. My roommate came out, Marshall, we were talking, and he looked at Josh. He said, man, I thought you were dead. Josh looked at him and said, not yet. And that's just how we were, and we got to talking, and next thing I know, we're outside and we're talking, and Josh said, you realize it's been a long time since camp. I said, yeah, 20 years. No, matter of fact, 21 years. And when you can pick up where you left off after 21 years, that's true friendship.
That's true friendship.
And timing. Again, I had no idea. None. I weren't even like, expecting it, and he popped out. I'm like, because I have a tournament on the 17th of September, karate tournament on the 17th of September. And he said, yeah, we'll work that out. Got the flyer, and I'm like, because Josh is in martial arts too, and wants to get back in, and mentioned Jack Dart, and I'm like, yeah, right where we left off. So don't ever sell yourself short. Know that God has plans for you. Jeremiah 29:11. Good plans, solid plans. And don't think that you can't do something because of an obstacle. An obstacle just presents an option to get around and persevere. An obstacle gives you a chance to persevere. And when you have a friend like a Miss Wilson or a Mr. Wilson or a Billy or a Chucky or a whoever that have been with you for 21 years, and you think, I ain't seen this person in God knows how long. They don't know. They may pop up at your door just like that. And you're going to have that moment of, what the world's going on here? But if you can pick up where you left off, that's true friendship. That's
true friendship. It was the most beautiful moment ever. The smiles, the joy, just the reminiscing, just just all three of y'all, just watching y'all as y'all talked and thought about camp. So the next journey is for me to take y'all to that campground. And because I've heard it for so long, and my thoughts were, I'm going to get Josh and I'm going to take Josh to DJ's house because I know all three of y'all were friends. So that was number one goal. Number two goal is to take y'all to get all three of y'all together and take y'all to this campground.
Oh my God!
And
y'all better bring some Kleenex for that one.
Even it's not what it was, but just to get there one good time.
Yep, that don't matter.
Right, and just have that moment.
Ooh, even thinking about it, I'm goosebumps. Just.
Yeah, so that's my next step. That's my next journey. Goal is to get y'all together and take y'all up there, take a nice good old ride up there, and just hope they allow us to just roll and scroll the ground and just talk about it and video, and maybe they allow us to talk to the head people and allow them to hear your voice and to understand the importance and the impact that camp had on you all, and how if they can do something like that again, or somebody can do something like that for the people growing up today and coming up today to be able to experience something like that.
Because there's not many of those left.
Right.
I mean, they are there, but they're few and far between. But I got a question that I wanted to ask you yesterday, and it escaped me yesterday until just now. You talked about how it made to see what did it do for you when you what I don't know if this sounds, what sense of accomplishment did you have from it, knowing what you know now, plus camp, plus all of that? And you got to be careful, because when she says something, she's going to do it. See, and I got to start paying attention now even more, because I was like, damn, she did say she was going to do that. That's her number one goal. Oh, man. But no, what did that do for you? And just to I guess the experience of it happening. And
it was so funny because I caught Josh off guard too. I caught him totally off guard. And but he was for it. He was all for it when I told him, right? And he said, okay, sure, let's do that. I got it. So to be able to pull that together and not tell any one of y'all what my goal and plan was until the moment. I told him like 10 minutes before, maybe 5 minutes before, because I was just riding, and I said, "Hey, Josh," I said, "What do you think about?" I said, "No, I have a plan." That's what it was. He could tell you that. "I have a plan. I was thinking about going to DJ house and just surprise him." I said, "However, let's do it this way. You go up to his door and knock on his door, and he gonna be surprised just seeing you at his door." And he's like, "Oh, yeah, that'll work real good." And I was like, I said, "I'll be to the side. I'll figure out where to stand with the camera so I can try to get both of y'all expression." You know, he said, "Yeah, that'll be real good." And I was like, "All right, we got it. That's just what we're going to do."
And she's good at throwing the curve in there. Like we got her on that birthday party though. Birthday party.
But so for me to have pulled that together, because it was in my mind and thought since I've known, since y'all talked about it, and you always expression how important that camp was to you, how much it meant to you, and the impact it had on your life. And then to know your roommate, and then Josh, and and I'm like, I'm gonna get Josh one day and I'm gonna take him to DJ house, because once he's at DJ house, his other friend is there as well.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So when you talk about friendship, mm-hmm. and when you talk about challenges, so DJ said earlier that things happen in relationships, friendships, things ain't always pretty. So once and how you pick up where you left off at. Right. So they had a challenge during their time at camp. Mm-hmm. They had a challenge, right? So, but to see that just go to the back of your head, mm-hmm. and see the person in front of you at that particular time and laugh and just forget, and like it was nothing ever happened. That there made me feel so good. And I couldn't get emotional like I wanted, because I was smiling too much to even get emotional.
I told Josh, I said, she messed us both up.
It was so beautiful, and my heart was so fun of just the joy and just watching y'all talking. I videoed all of it. So like I said, I plan on putting the video out there.
Right.
But
I was really happy for Marshall too. And Marshall don't get on camera a lot, or don't talk a whole bunch, Right. But it was good because, believe it or not, Marshall's known Josh longer than I have.
Right. That's what Josh told me.
Friends, right. They were friends first. I mean, and that's perfectly okay. But the three of us together,
boy, that was so beautiful. It was just like I was just looking like, just looking like, wow, the three of us together again. And so it's not the last time. It's not the last time. It won't be the last time. So I just thank God for the opportunity to be able to bring friends together again, and to see it fall together like nothing even left. Like they didn't even depart for 21 years.
It was for a moment in time, we went back to where we were.
Yeah.
And that's hard to do, because Camp Easterseal's been changed 4 times now. And I used to couldn't talk about it without getting upset because of how much, but having that moment of the three of us sitting in the same, and I'm like, y'all feel that? Just, because you can't recreate it. It's very difficult to recreate that kind of memory. And Josh said, boy, you remember this person? And I said, yeah, boy. Because we were going through. I mean, we were 12, 15 then, so anything with legs and blonde hair made us happy. But not only that, just to be able to reminisce about who we were.
I mean, yeah.
I'm 40 years old. I had to think.
Yeah, and he's
It
39.
hurts to think at 40. I'm at 21 years. That's a long
Yeah.
time.
Yep.
So enjoy those moments, guys, because
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
true friends, when they're true friends, like
You'll know.
you'll know.
You'll know.
But thank you, Miss Wilson, for being with me today. I'm so glad you
You're
were able
welcome.
to pop up here and made this so much better because to be able to I mean brought so much more to timing and you know how that really works. You just know that there is somebody out there for everybody and once you get that true friend, just don't hold on too tight because you can smother them, and you have to learn to give and take both ways. You know, nobody's going to do it all right the first time or the second time, but forgiveness is 7 times 7. So just enjoy those little moments, you know, and reminisce in that. And I thank God for Josh, seeing him again, man. That smile on his face was worth it to me, you know.
Yeah.
When you get a person that is not as boisterous as I am, but they can still, swing the axe, as it were.
Yeah.
And I mean, I remember in our years, Marshall and Josh, boy, whoo, they could those two. Then I'm like, I'm gonna just back up, and go, let them, you know. But it was cool because we all got to be part of that, and I'm so happy Miss Wilson got to be part of that because talking about going to camp and stuff like that. Whenever that happens, that's going to be a moment in time. That's going to be a moment in time that I don't know if I want to come back from. And it's hard because I told my mom, I said, look, when I die, that's where I want to be buried. I don't care what it is. I don't care what it is. That's where I want to. And she knew I was serious. She knew it because I said, you may think I'm joking. I said, all my stuff, bury me right there. I said, you can bury me by the pool house. Hopefully Tanya will walk over the ground. I'm just saying. But that's for you there, Josh. There you go, buddy. But the friendships there are so many that have, and I still talk to people from Camp Eastersill that those friendships lasted a lifetime.
Yeah.
So I thank you for being on the show today. It meant so much. Thank everybody for tuning in and commenting. Gosh, this has been awesome. Every Wednesday, 7 p.m., the Global Disability Broadcast, Let Go Radio, Facebook Live, show 106 coming up next Wednesday, 7 p.m. I've always wanted to hang. I've always wanted to hang glide. No camp, no camp I'm aware of. Hey, don't mean it can't come true though. I got some steel pipe and some kite somewhere. We'll figure it out. But I always say, if you can't be good, be bad, but be good at it. Thank everybody for tuning in. Share the show if you get a chance, because it can change a life and it can make someone smile. I'm D to the J with the rollaway. We'll see you next week. For my CP does not define me.
Oh Lord. Oh, that's what that lady did on the Steve Harvey show. So I wanted to throw in when I was on the radio, I started off with a positive quote. And what I used for a very long time was, if you wait for perfect conditions, you'll never get anything done. I don't know who that for today. Ooh, but think about it. If you wait for perfect conditions, you'll never get anything done. All right, that's all I wanted to say.
I'm gonna write that one down. Yeah. All right, y'all. Miss Winnie done it again. Like I said, I'm D to the J with a roll away. Now I'm gonna click on the outro. Y'all take it easy. We'll see you next week.
All right, everybody. That's going to do it for this week's episode of My CP Does Not Define Me. As always, you can catch us every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, live on the Disability Global Broadcast, Facebook Live, and on www.letgoradio.net. Also, if you haven't already checked out our YouTube channel, My CP Does Not Define Me, where we post all of our show's episodes in our My CP playlist. As always, I'm your host, D to the J with the roll away. If you can't be good, be bad, but be good at it. We'll see you next week.
And